one phenomenal example that's coming up in Europe, the establishment of AMLA. I think it's been established already.
Yes, it has.
And then the focus on the next AML directive. How does this respond to the threat of financial crime for our industry? Would you see some friction between an AMLA in France or the AMLA in BaFin in Germany?
Firstly, the approach has typically been national. If we look at the legislative framework, even up until a couple of years ago, the AMLD 5 directive being a prime example, that was a European level framework. The EU 2 or 3 years ago, in the wake of various scandals, the Danske Bank and the Wirecard scandals being a couple of examples, decided to create an AML package. There were several elements of that package. Some legislative elements, primarily the AMLD 6 directive, the AML regulation. The other component of that was the creation of this new European level authority, AMLA, the Anti-Money Laundering Authority. This is based in Frankfurt and has recently been established. The purpose of this authority was to bring together and coordinate some of those national approaches and to support greater harmonisation in the approaches that member states are adopting to tackle financial crime. It was supported also by the AML regulation. So this is a directly applicable regulation that the EU has developed and indeed has enacted now to bring together some harmonisation of different approaches.
I know you sit on boards of several financial services companies. What would be your advice to a board in relation to financial crime, regulation, and fighting it?
I would encourage directors on those boards to ask themselves, firstly, how that policy is being implemented in practice, and secondly, what is the weakest link? That weakest link could exist within a management company, within a service provider. And so it is asking the right information, it is getting the right presentations from service providers to really understand how operationally that policy set is being implemented. A component of that will be the tools in which those service providers are using to fight financial crime. Are they using artificial intelligence, technology? That should allow a director to get a good sense of what the financial crime risks are. There should be a comprehensive risk register to reflect those. What are the high risk areas? What is the weakest link within that framework? Boards need to look at their skills, their expertise, their knowledge to really understand, particularly the technology, the way in which that's being used, and to be asked the right questions to really determine effective oversight of some of these risks.